It's Tuesday morning. Sprint planning starts in 2 minutes. Priya has prepared the board. The user stories are refined. The sprint goal is clear. At least it is to her. The session begins. The tech lead leans forward and starts talking. And for the next 40 minutes, he doesn't really stop. The team files out. Priya looks at the sprint board. 3 user stories have no clear owner. 2 developers had questions they never asked. And the edge case risk that the back-end team spotted last week? Nobody mentioned it. The sprint hasn't started yet, and it's already in trouble. The problem isn't your tech lead. It isn't your team. It is the structure you use to open that session. When you open sprint planning with an open discussion. So, any thoughts on this story? You are handing a microphone to whoever is most comfortable speaking first. In almost every team, that is the same 1 or 2 people. It is not because they are bad colleagues. It is because open discussion, as a structure, rewards confidence and speed over depth and accuracy. The people who think more carefully before speaking, who want to consider edge cases, check assumptions, spot risks, those people need a moment. Open discussion doesn't give it to them, so what actually happens? Risks stay hidden because the people who spotted them never got the floor. Ownership is unclear because stories were assigned by whoever was paying attention, not by the people with the right capability. And commitment is shallow because if you never said anything, you never really agreed to anything. Velocity suffers. Mid-sprint, surprises multiply. And Priya ends up doing what Scrum masters everywhere do, chasing up blockers that should have been surfaced in planning. This is the hidden cost of open discussion in sprint planning, not a bad meeting, a bad sprint. And the fix takes 12 minutes. 1, 2, 4. All is one of the simplest liberating structures. It was designed by Henri Lipmanowicz and Keith McCandless specifically to replace open discussion, and it takes exactly 12 minutes. Here is how it works. Stage 1, 1 minute, silent individual reflection. You pose one clear question to the whole group, and then everyone thinks quietly on their own. No hands raised, no jumping in, just 1 minute where every single person in the room engages with the question at the same time. This single minute does something that 40 minutes of open discussion never does. It activates every mind in the room before any voice fills the space. Stage 2, 2 minutes, pairs. Each person turns to the person next to them and shares what they were thinking. 2 minutes, everyone speaks. The developer who never says anything in the group, she is talking right now to one person, which feels safe. The risk she spotted in the acceptance criteria, it is being said out loud for the first time. Stage 3, 4 minutes, 4s. 2 pairs join. Now there are 4 people sharing what emerged from their pair conversations. Ideas combine. Assumptions get challenged, gently because the group is still small enough to feel safe. The best thinking from 8 people is being distilled by 4. Stage 4, 3 minutes, the whole group. Each group of 4 shares their single most important insight with everyone. The facilitator, that's you, captures it on the board. No one is reporting on everything. Just the highlights. The signal, not the noise. Total time, 12 minutes. And what you now have is not one person's view of the sprint. You have the collective intelligence of the entire team, structured, heard, and visible. 1 question, 12 minutes. Every voice. The following Tuesday, Priya tries 1, 2, 4 all in sprint planning. She makes one change to how she opens the session. Instead of saying, "Any thoughts on this story?" she puts a single question on the board. The question is, what risks, assumptions, or gaps do you see in this sprint goal? She sets a 1-minute timer. The room goes quiet. And for the first time in her sprint planning sessions, every single person in the room is thinking about the same thing at the same time. Then pairs. 2 minutes. The tech lead pairs with a developer. Across the room, the back-end engineer who never speaks is paired with the QA lead. She starts talking immediately. Turns out she has been thinking about a data migration edge case for 3 days, then 4s. The pairs merge. 4 groups, 4 minutes. The data migration edge case gets combined with a performance concern from another pair. A pattern emerges. 3 separate pairs independently spotted the same API dependency risk. Nobody had mentioned it before today. Then the whole group. Priya captures every insight on the board. 11 items surface in 3 minutes. 11. She circles 3 of them immediately. They are critical. One would have taken down the sprint entirely. The tech lead stares at the board. He had not seen any of them. 12 minutes. Every voice heard. 3 critical risks surfaced before the sprint began. And for the first time, every story on the board has a clear owner, because the people who raised the concerns are the ones who understood the work. Over the next 4 sprints, Priya used 1-2-4-all to open every planning session. The results were not subtle. Mid-sprint blockers dropped by 60%, because the risks that were causing them were now being surfaced in planning, not discovered on day 5. Sprint goal clarity, measured by a simple end-of-planning pulse check, went from 4.2 out of 10 to 8.7. The team knew what they were building and why. And story ownership? Previously, roughly a third of stories had no clear owner after planning. After 4 sprints of 1-2-4-all, that number was 0. At the retrospective, one developer said something that Priya wrote down. He said, "I've been on this team for 8 months. Last sprint was the first time I felt like my opinion actually changed something." He was not wrong. It did. The structure changed. Everything else followed. Before your next sprint planning session, you have one thing to do. Write your 1-2-4-all question. Not any thoughts? A real, specific, single question that will activate your team's thinking. Something like, what risks or assumptions are we not talking about in this sprint? Or, where are we least confident in our estimates and why? Or, what would need to be true for this sprint goal to fail? One question. That is your preparation for the whole session. Drop your question in the comments below. I will read every single one. And if yours is particularly sharp, I will feature it in a future episode. In episode 2, we meet Marcus, a Scrum Master who has run 24 retrospectives and watched the same 3 action items appear every single time. The fix is not a better template. It is a completely different question. I will see you there.